Taking all those elements into account and adding it up, the final score for the movie is... By the end of this video, my goal is to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10. In order to do that, we'll have a look at the production quality, talk about the ending, and go through some of the comments that people have about the movie. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about production quality. The director of this movie is David Fincher. This is a guy who's been around for quite some time. He's known for movies such as Fight Club, Seven, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. His movies usually include some very dark scenes and themes around people who feel like they don't belong, outcasts. It is very much the case with this movie. The main character, played by Michael Fassbender, always operates in the dark to do his killing. He's a person that doesn't belong in the world and is obviously avoiding any kind of attachment to other people, except for his wife, which we barely see through the entire movie. There is next to no CGI involved in the movie. Everything looks real, and the music is really subtle, never overpowering the action. Thinking about it now, I don't remember a single specific song that was played in the movie. This could be seen as a bad thing, but I think it is fitting with the cold, methodical personality of the main character. The locations we explore through the movies are quite varied, since the killer is always traveling around to do his killing. But it's not a pretty movie. You won't be amazed by the locations shown throughout the scenes. I will be giving a 2 out of 3 for the production quality. When it comes to the ending, let me say this plainly, I was not impressed. I was slightly surprised when the killer decided to leave the client alive near the end of the movie. I guess the aim was to make us understand that the killer is not just a no-brain murdering machine, that he actually thinks before pulling the trigger. But at the same time, we followed the guy during the whole movie, killing all his enemies, for a noble reason, you could say, trying to secure his future with his wife. By the time the scene with the client arrives, I was already convinced he started the movie with noble intentions, but he's really not a good person. He's a bad guy. He really is a killer. I feel like killing the last client, even if he had no real justification for it, would have been more powerful, blurring even more the lines between good and bad. So for that reason, I will be giving a 1.5 out of 3 for the ending. Now it's time for user reviews. Let's see what people think about this movie. We're going to jump on IMDb website to have a look. Let's type in the movie, The Killer. Right off the bat, we can see 6.8 out of 10. Alright, let's click on that. Most people rated this movie at around 6 to 8. That's interesting. Between 6 and 8 is actually a pretty good rating for a movie on IMDb. It's not the highest, but it's also not bad. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So now let's go and have a look at the user reviews. Alright, so let's dive into it. Alright, so first one. Great looking but dull as a dishwasher. After 20 minutes of introduction, something finally happens and you're left with a film that's beautifully shot, well acted, with a somewhat interesting story. I mean, I kind of agree with this guy. The movie is pretty slow. At the beginning, I didn't really understand what was going on when he was just rambling about stuff.
Skepticism is often mistaken for cynicism. There are 1,500 McDonald's in France. I used to book a lot through Airbnb.
It didn't make the story progress at all. Sleeping Dragon, I agree with you. Let's check a really low one. Oh, 2 out of 10. If you're unable to endure boredom, this work is not for you. This guy thinks the same. The movie is too slow. You are in for an absolute slug of a movie. I guess by today's standard, this movie is pretty slow. It was extremely difficult to get through. I thought about quitting multiple times. I mean, I understand. Failed at making me care about anything or anyone in the movie. That is also true. I said there's one character I cared about. It was the secretary.
I know what you're capable of, how you can...
It's the only one I cared about. Another winner from Fincher. You can see some people here, they like the movie because of the director. David Fincher just about always knocks it out of the park. Ooh, this guy liked it. Even with something I don't really connect to emotionally or find riveting, like Mank. I don't know what Mank is. I can appreciate and generally see what he's going for. I think we've read enough. Some people like it, some people hated it, but no one really enjoyed it. No one thought it was amazing, so that's really the main problem. There's nothing outstanding about this movie. Everything is just a bit dull, predictable, and there's really nothing that special about this movie. So if we go back to the star rating, we have 6.8 out of 10. And we have to scale this on 3. So that would be, let me do a quick calculation. So the user rating based on what people think about the movie is 2 out of 3. Now, you might have noticed that all the scores we've had so far only add up to a maximum of 9 out of 10. That is because we have a bonus question we have to answer for the last point. The question is it worth watching? My answer is yes. This will not be a movie that changes your life, but it's good enough if you like crime movies with a bit of suspense and some murdering action. Taking all those elements into account and adding it up, the final score for the movie is 6.5 out of 10. If you want to remember more details about the movie, click on this video to get a lightning quick summary and make up your own ranking. And if you want to know more about the characters in this movie, click on this video where I rank all the characters from the worst to the best.